we are going to learn how to write a select statement to get some data from the database table. Okay, so to perform this operation, first of all, I need to identify one table. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so let's as we are a BW consultants, we know info objects. Okay, so for example, let's take any info object here. So if I take in this GSR Matner info object, it contains P table. For a non, BW people also, we need one database table. That's it. Okay. So now I know one database table. What was the database table name? P underscore P. This one. I'm going to S11. Okay, I'm going to this P table of this info object GSR Matner. If I go to this internal into database table, I can find some records in it. So it contains columns called information like material, version, material group, material type. This we can ignore at this point of time. Now from this table, my requirement is initially to fetch all data. No, from my requirement is to fetch material and material group information. Okay, from this table I want to fetch material and material group information into my internal table and print it on the output screen. Okay, so that is my requirement. So how can I read data from a database table? So this is called database table. What is database table? The tables which can be accessed from S11 are called database tables. Okay, so how to fetch data from database table? By using select statement. Now what we need to remember here, whenever we are talking about these database tables, you see, this is the database table structure. I went to S11, I given the table name, I went to display. Now it is showing the structure of the this table. And when I go to the content information and execute, then I am able to see the data in the table. Okay, so now we need to little bit understand about the structure of the table. So in this structure, you see, we have around 5 columns are there. Okay, 5 columns are there. So our material number changed on, and then object version changed on, material group and material type. Now my requirement is to read material information and the material group information from this table and print it on the output screen. So if you want to read these two information, so what is the general requirement here? Means how you are going to write your code. So you need to define. So first of all, make a high level overview of what we are going to do. So define a structure with the 2 fields, which is nothing but material and material group. Okay, so you are going to define a structure with the 2 fields information, material and material group, and then create internal table, because I am going to write data into internal table work area. Okay, and then so after creating internal table and work area, you are going to perform a select statement to fetch data from database table into your internal table, and then you are going to write a loop statement to print the data on the output screen. So this is your sequence of steps to be performed as part of this example. Okay, now we are going to do it. So first thing, what is the first part? The first part is creating a structure. So now I am going to my ABAP program. So I want to create a structure. So to create a structure, what was the syntax I need to write? Types begin of y underscore the structure name. Generally, I will always prefer to provide the structure name with the name of the table you are going to write. So I am going to read data from this table. But you see the table name is /BIC/PZSRM Matter. As a BW consultant, I know this is the /BIC/P is a generic one, okay, system defined one, and GSR Matter is the name of the info object. If you it's up to you, like you can give the whole name here or you can give the reasonable name here. Since I am going to read data from this info object, I am going to write the name of the info object next to the y underscore, okay, to make it more readable. So end of y underscore this one. So structure definition, begin of, end of, and in between I need to define my two columns information. So which columns I need to write? Material and material group. Correct. So but what I am going to do, I am not going to write anything generalized here because I know I need the columns from this table. So instead of giving your own name, always try to give the same name what you have in the database table. So give slash base slash, because this was the column name of your table. Okay, and the material group table, material group, column name also you can give as it is, how it was in the table. Now after each field name you need to define the data type of the column, correct? So what was the data type of this column? This is GSR Matner is of type char of length 18, correct? So but you are not going to type, define it as a C with 18. So we are not going to define in this manner. Okay, it is okay, you can, because you can see that field name here and the data type and length. So defining in this way is 100% correct. There is no problem. But I don't prefer writing in this way. Okay. Instead of writing in this way, 1 second, let me keep it like this. I will comment it. Okay. Instead of writing in this way, so the way which I prefer to write is write the column name, type, use the data element column in the table. Okay, use the data element column in the table, copy. So data element, this is called data element. So what is data element? Data element defines the data type and the length to this column. Okay, so if you double click on the data element, it reaches to the domain. Okay, you see this data element was defined on the domain. Okay, and what exactly this domain? Double click on the domain. So this domain is defined with the data type and the length of the column. It means it is two objects behind it, data element. So data element was defined on domain. Domain contains the exact data type and length. Okay, so by referring to the domain, you are what means say, by referring to this domain data element name, indirectly you are referring to the same data type and length. Okay, I hope it is clear. So this way it will be easier. Okay, similarly material group also you can define type and corresponding data element. So what it is to do, material group. Okay, this is the data element of this column. So this you must know it. Okay, instead of defining them in like this with data type C and I, better always use the data element. So what was the benefit of using data element while defining the columns in the structure instead of defining them in this way? At some point, for example, I got a user requirement to go to this info object and change the length of the material group field to some 20. So if I did that change, I don't know I am using this table in this program and this still continues with the same length because I am defining with this like this, right? Okay, so to make it dynamic, it is always better to define with the data element so that it will take care automatically. Okay, I can cover this topic later point, but not at this point, it will be too heavy. Okay, so now initially I am done with defining the structure of the structure of my output table. So now I am going to define internal table lt underscore. Again, while defining internal table also, I'm going to define with my info object name only, lt underscore gsmatner type standard table of y underscore this one info object name ls underscore. As I said, like whenever we are defining internal table, better to define the work area also simultaneously. Immediately I can say, okay, y underscore gen like this. So I'm done with defining the internal table and the work area. So that's why before you start writing any program, first of all think what you are going to write. So I plan to define the structure with two fields. I'm done with that part. Creating internal table and work area, done with that part. And next part is writing the select statement. So how to write a select statement? What was the syntax of it? select. So select is used to fetch data from a database table into your internal table. Okay, select. After select, we need to specify the column names from the table, which we are going to read. I am going to read this material column, and so since one second, to make it more readable, we can write it in multiple lines also. You can write it in single line, it's always okay, but you can write in this way also, which was the nice looking appearance. So select my first column and then space followed by space or next line. You can give the second column name. Okay, enter. So you are going to read these two columns from. So after providing all the columns information after select statement, you need to write the from table name. So from which database table you want to read? From your P table of your info object. Okay, from the table. So after reading from this table, where exactly you want to keep this information from? Into table. You are going to write the output of this select statement into this internal table, lt underscore gsr matner internal table. Okay. So what is happening? That's it. So I am not writing any where condition here. I will let you know that one. Hmm. What happens is this is the P table, attribute table of an info object. You see what was the key here? The key is Matner and object version. It means what happens if there are there may be a duplicate records in this table with a different object version. Okay, so to make it unique always, we must read always data with object version A. So that is one of the rule while reading data from the any attribute table. So how can I make it all here? By writing the where condition, where of which a version is equal to active version capital A. Okay, so by writing syntax in this way, what exactly we are going to do? So select these two columns from this database table into the into the internal table where object version is equal to A. It means while system is trying to read some data into one second, where it is. If I go to content, so it will fetch data only for the active version A. Okay. So that's it. So now system is having data in the internal table. Now you know how to display the data from internal table into the output. So by performing the loop operation, loop at lt underscore gsr matner into ls underscore gsr matner, and then you are looping to your internal table and writing the information. So always write the first line with the new line character, my material matner full stop, and then second line also print it on the output screen, ls underscore. By pressing the control tab, you will get the hint like this, and selecting the tab button, you will get the it will be selected and displayed on the output screen. Okay, so you return the two columns information on the output screen. Now you are activating your program. Just I am writing one write statement here by activate. So if I execute this program, you see all the 4 records from the P table are written on the output screen. Actually not, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records are there. There is one blank record which is not coming, or coming, it is we are not able to see. That's it. Okay. So now I am my satisfaction. So let's go to the debugging mode. I'm keeping a breakpoint on 18 line and executing my code. Okay, so what is happening? So currently, if you double click on your internal table and work area and see, currently internal table contains 0 records, but if you go to the definition of internal table, you see there are 2 columns are there. This is the row number, system given one, and then work area contains no data. So whenever you press F5, whenever you try to execute this piece of code with F5, this single line of code, now you see system got 5 records here. You see, along with the blank record, system got 4 more records into the internal table by this select statement. Now what you are doing to do with this in loop statement, you are going to print that 5 records on the output screen. Because the first record is a null record, system not printing anything. It's printing, but we are not able to see. But from the second record onwards, you can see because it contains some data M1, MG1. Okay, so it printing on the output like this for 5 records it will. Remember, for example, at this point of time, I want to know which record in the internal table is printing on my output screen. How you get to know? By looking into this SY-TABIX. SY-TABIX, you get to know. You see, M3 is the value currently. No, not this one. M3 is the value currently which it is written to the output. So if I go to my database table, M3 is a record from line number 4, row number 4. Okay, so if I go to my SY-TABIX, you see it is showing 4. It means this SY-TABIX provides the information where exactly this pointer, this pointer is mapped in my internal table. Okay, SY-TABIX provides the success or failure information of the internal table, and SY-TABIX provides the line number of the internal table where you are. Okay, and after completing the 5 records printing, then system doesn't find any further record, it breaks the loop and it will come out of the loop. Okay, all 5 got deleted. Now I will this is one part. This is completed. By this time what we can say, we learned how to write a select statement and how to write a loop statement. But while writing the okay, as let's complete it, and we will go learn few other topics as a next topic. Okay, just a second. Okay, so while writing the select statement, we've written a where condition. What is this where condition? Where condition, when it is reading data from the internal table, it always makes sure it reads the data as per your where condition here. Okay, the where condition you written here is object version is equal to a. It means when it is reading data from your internal table, so from your database table, it will check each record whether the object version is a or not. Okay, if it is a, then only it will read the data. Okay, so now I will show you what is happening now. Instead of a, now I am going to give m. Why it is not taking? Instead of a, I am going to give m and activating my program. Do I have any records with m in my table? No, correct. Now how system is going to behave in this scenario? Okay, so now select statement. I am trying to read data with object version m, but there are no records. Remember, you see currently size of RC is 0. Okay, whenever I press F5, you see what happened here? Size of RC is 4. What exactly size of RC 4 means? It is failure in this case. Okay, it means it's try to execute, not failure, like a warning. It's try to execute the database fetch statement, select statement, but system unable to get any data from this table. This was represented with this size of RC. Okay, if size of RC is 0 means system successfully able to bring some data from the table. If it is 4 means system doesn't bring any data from your database table because of failure with the where condition or some what, or this table doesn't have any data. Either may be the case. Whenever system not able to fill any data into your internal table, it will return the size of RC 4. You see there are no records in it. Okay. Since there are no records in the internal table, this loop statement is also will go file. If I press F5, you see it came out of, because there are no records in the internal table to loop. So it came out of it and directly written my by statement. You see by. Okay. So now what exactly we learned here? Now if I have, object version A, if I want to add more conditions to here, and for example, I don't want to read, all the data from the internal table. I want to read data where material group is equal to MG2. Okay. So what I can do here, I can give material group slash BIC slash material group is equal to MG2. It means from this table I want to read data where object version is equal to A and material group is equal to MG2. Okay, so now with this combination, do I have any record? Yes, there is a record with the object version A and material group MG2. Okay, so now I'm going to activate this program. I'm going to execute this program. So now it came here. Currently my internal table doesn't have any data. My work area also doesn't have any data. Now I am pressing F. You see currently my size of RC is 0. Okay, I am pressing F5. You see my F5 returns 0. My select statement returns 0. Why? Because it is successfully able to fetch at least one record from the table. If it is able to fetch data and your internal table is filled with some records, then always size of RC is 0. Whenever internal table doesn't fill with any information after writing select statement, it returns size of RC 4. Means using this size of RC, you can able to say your select statement was failure or successful. Okay, in our real time, based upon the success and failure, we write our logic. Okay, that's why I'm stressing to understand this size of RC concept while writing the select statement. Okay, I hope you are clear with this one. So now, so how we are writing the where condition to my select statement. Similarly, I can write the where condition to my loop statement also. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to delete this where condition of a material group here. Okay, now what will happen? This select statement will fetch 5 records from my database table. That is okay, fine. But out of these 5 records, I don't want to print all the data on the output screen, but I want to print some with condition. So I can write some where condition here. Loop at internal table into work area where means when it is looping to my internal table, it checks the one of the column, and if one or multiple columns, if it is satisfying, then only it will print the data. So how to write it? Where material group, same like m/base slash material group is equal to mg3. Let's say mg3. Okay, activate. Now let's debug this code and understand how exactly it is working. I'm pressing F5. Now my internal table is filled with 5 records. Happy, fine. And then my internal table contains 5 records and my loop started. Generally, loop has to run for 5 times because I am looping to my internal table. But I written a where condition where material group is equal to mg3. It means system doesn't loop to the all the records. It will try where it contains mg3. For only those records, it will try to execute the loop statement. Okay, it will go inside of it because it found one of the mg3 record here at line number 4, row number 4, let's say. You see now, because system directly jumped into the row number 4, my SY-TABIX is showing 4. Okay, it's not coming from 1 to 3. It's directly came 4. Why? Because loop statement, I have a where condition, it directly jumps to that where where this condition satisfies, and it will write the record, and then it will again search for the next record. Do you have any record after 4th record with the mg3 material group? Do you have any? No. In that case, what will happen? Since there are no further hits found, it will come out of the statement. Okay, so it means what we learned here, we can write where condition on select statement, we can write where condition on the loop statement also based upon our requirement. Okay, now instead of mg3, I am going to give mg7 here. Activate. Okay, and try to understand this one also. Now we learned about a successful hit. Earlier what we learned? Earlier we learned about the successful hit of in the loop statement. But we must know how negative also works, right? So that's why I've given mg7. Now my internal table contains 5 records like this. Now system is trying to loop to my internal table where material group is equal to mg7. Do I have any record with mg7 here? No. In that case, what happens here, when I press F5, you see it came out of the loop because it tried to search the mg7 in the loop. It doesn't found anywhere, so it came out of the loop. Okay, end of the record reached already. In this case also, if the loop statement failed to execute at least once, then also your size of bars is 4. When it will be 4, if your loop statement fail to execute at least one time, then it will give size of bars 4. Okay, you must know how exactly size of bars works in ABAP statements. Okay, then you can handle situations very gently and carefully. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now I am stopping recording. Take some assignment on this what we learned today. Okay, so first one is, since we learned about loop statements internal table, I will ask you to define some structure and then create one. Last time I given you one assignment on the structure only here. First name, last name with this one. But this time what I will ask you is to read data from one of the database tables. Okay. So now, okay. So in each and every table, there may be some database tables will be there. Okay. Which are not customized. I'm going to S11. So which table is best table to read? It is if it is this one or this one. Just a second. Let me stop. So in the BW, when we are learning ABAP, it is important for us to learn the database tables also. Okay, so like what kind of database tables? Some of the important tables: RSD, IOBJ. Okay, so what exactly this RSD, IOBJ? This is a table where it contains the directory of all the objects. Okay, which means each and every info object you created or is given by SAP will be available in this table. Okay, for example, just now we worked on one of the P table of one of the info object, GSR Matner. If I try to go here and find that info object, because it's an info object, I can able to find it here. You see, there are two versions of it: active version and modified version. This is the technical name of the info object, and this is a another /BAC/name, and then at what time it was created and what was the short description and long description of this info object. Okay, field name. So what I'm going to do, let's try to read these two records, columns information. So currently this table is showing the field name. I want to change it to the technical name of the column. So I go to settings and I change keyword to field name. Then I can see in this way. Now I'm going to write my assignment here. What was the assignment for you? Write a select statement. Write a select statement. Okay. Write a select statement to read all the active version info objects information from table RSD IOBJ and write it on the output screen. The columns we need to write. We need to output are IOBJ NM one column and FIELD NM column, FIELD NM column and IOBJ TP column. So these three columns you need to write. But remember, when I'm giving this line, I explained clearly. I want, okay, 1 minute. Write a select statement to read all the active versions. What is meant by active versions? Here there is a where condition. Where condition you need to apply. What was the where condition? Where obj verse is equal to A. Okay, so you need to write this where condition while writing the select statement. So you need to define a structure with these three columns and then create internal table, work area, and then write the select statement to fetch these three columns into your internal table with where condition on object version is equal to A, and then write that once internal table is filled, write the output onto the output screen. Okay, so this is your first statement. Now second statement. Second program. Okay, so with continuation to the first program only. Okay, from the above internal table table, write records with IOBJ type, IOBJ TB is equal to CHA. Because when you write the above select statement, there is a chance of you getting multiple object types. Because I given only one info object here, I came like this. You see, with active version, I have around 898 records are there. Okay, if I execute this 898 records, you see there are CH characteristics are there, key figures are there. Okay, units are there, something like this, right? So in that case, write only units field, UNI. Okay, so with the second program, you are going to print only the unit fields out of this all the rows. Okay, so this is your, so where you are using the where condition, you can write a program with select statement with the uni and write out the output, or while you are writing the loop statement, use the uni on the where condition to print only those. Either one you can use it. Okay, so try to do this assignment, then you will have some overview. Okay, how it works. I'm stopping recording.